but they just don't know.
What I told you, Cutter.
People seen it, but they just don't know. People seen it, but they just don't know.
Huh?
People,
Let's go.
people seen it, but they just don't know. People seen it, but they.
What's going on? What's going on? It's your boy Icon. We here on 910 Sports TV. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, TV. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We basically, about to be stomping with the big dogs here real soon, real soon. So, first and foremost, gotta always thank God for this opportunity to be able to come on here. You know what I'm saying? And to have these great topics and great guests and all that. We're gonna line them up left and right. This is actually episode 2 of season 4. We had a episode 1 a couple of weeks back, or whatever. I actually had to go to my son's wedding and baby shower and all that, so kind of got busy for me over the last couple of weeks. But we're back. You know what I'm saying? Introduce my right hand man, the man that make everything go behind the scenes, the one that make the stir the coffee back behind the scenes. My man Jacob, the great in the building. What's going on, fam?
What's happening? What's happening, man? We back again. Not on sports TV, and we also streaming. You know, radio with 901 Sports Radio, and man, and being a part of the Village Global Network is definitely a blessing. So, man, we here to talk about these sports. It's our time of the year. I tell people all the time, from 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 late August up until April, that's that's the time for the fellas. That's the time for
Yeah,
the fellas.
that's true. That's true. That's true. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So we officially back. NFL start this week. College football really started last week, but this week they really, they really kicked it off yesterday with a bang or
Hmm.
whatever. Let's get into actually, really Thursday night. So let's really go start from that Thursday game, man, with that Shador Sanders, Travis Hunter, Jimmy Horn and them guys, man. So, I just gonna say that Travis Hunter to me looks like the best wide receiver in the game. Like he just the stuff he could do, the route running. I like his aggressiveness. I like his swagger. He reminds me like the old school wide receivers. Terrell Owens is actually one of his mentors, and helps him train. So you can kind of already see him rubbing off on him. And even if you watch T.O. on the sideline, T.O. was like in awe of him. You know what I mean? T.O. was looking at like this kid is ridiculous. So you could just see it in his facial expressions and stuff. Every time he made a play, how what he was looking at, and you know, um, me personally, I feel like I don't know if Colorado gotten that much better. The defense looks a little bit better, but they got better competition this year too. So I don't. It's kind of hard to say where they're gonna end up landing. So they definitely gonna have to that front four is still not putting pressure on the ball, and the offensive front four is still not opening up holes to run the game, run the ball. So they still may struggle. But between that and Shador Sanders showing that he at least top 5 quarterback in the league. They trying to give it to other quarterbacks. We'll get back again to that in a minute. But for him showing who he is and how he plays, he could make every throw. He's a very poised quarterback, and I feel like he should be no later than he should be at least the second quarterback coming off the board. But from what I've seen, I think he should be number 1. So what's your feelings on everything?
Um, I think the offensive line need to get better. I think as time go on, the defensive front will be way better than we see them now. I think you know when you're a young man and you're dealing with a Super Bowl champion, a Pro Bowler, Hall of Famer in Warren Sapp, you know, Warren Sapp was big, he was fast, but he had so much technique coming off that line. You know what I'm saying? Like he gonna have to teach them boys how to throw that flipper, but how to give it like nobody throw that flipper and could get in between the offensive guard and offensive tackle better than Warren Sapp and Michael Strahan. Even Michael Graham played defensive end. Uh, at certain times he would line up a defensive tackle too, but not often. But you can tell that he done play all different areas of the front line when he played. He done played nose guard, defensive tackle, and defensive end. So and people often forget how great um you know Big Boy was and how great Michael Graham was. So
Hmm.
but with him have addition, I just wonder is Dion gonna make T.O. the official wide receiver coach?
Yeah, and that's what I was thinking. Like, man, he got him out there. Maybe he need to, like you said, how give him a job and whatever, for down the line because Trap Son is a natural talent. Him and he's a generational talent. And but for years to come, you want somebody back there like a To that can groom them guys that's gonna be coming up behind him that may not necessarily be as naturally talented as Travis Hunter. What impressing me the most about Hunter is that he plays two way both sides of the ball and he barely comes out the game. You know what I mean? So he probably plays 95% of the snaps. And that's ridiculous for somebody to be able to play that well and dominate both sides of the ball. He's a shutdown corner, and he's a number one receiver. Normally guys like that, he might be like a slot corner. You know what I'm saying? If they do come out there a little bit, or slot corner, nickel corner, whatever, then they might be like the third or fourth option on the offensive side of the ball. So normally they're not going to be number one on both sides of the ball, and that's very very impressive. You know what I'm saying? Well, for what I've seen with that particular game.
Okay. Yeah. So with that being said, man, Shador throw for 445 yards passing in his first game. Um, the fastest quarterback to get to 100 touchdowns. In the amount of time he's been playing. So um, the first collegiate athlete, you know, through an NIL deal to have a contract with Nike. You know what I mean? Um, and the Nike symbol with him showing his watch. You know what time it is. Hey, listen, man. Listen. They always used to talk about him in that watch. You know what I mean? And now that watching created something a whole different level for him. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So so. But yeah, man, Thursday night good game, man. So we gonna get into my Tigers. Man, boy, Lord have mercy. It's so disappointing. But shout out to Steve-O, Toto Sports, and we was talking last night. He was like, man, that Georgia defense, man, is just serious, man. And then a lot of people said, you'll feel bad if you lost to somebody like a Coastal Carolina. They was like, but man, for real, to lose against the number one team, you know, and to lose against, and Georgia been elite for the last 3-4 years, so it don't mean y'all gonna have a bad season. I say it don't, man, but they let other teams know that it's a weakness. You know what I mean? If you
Mm-hmm.
can't even score a touchdown, then that's bad, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think what it is it shows that Clemson is not where they used to be when they had Deshaun Watson, when they had Trevor Lawrence, when they had other quarterbacks in the past. They're not where they know need to be. On I say defensively, I think they're fine. I just think that what happened yesterday is when you can't score, eventually you're gonna run out of gas, and the team gonna be able to kind of get you because the first probably what 2.5 quarters, they were pretty much containing Georgia offensively.
Mm-hmm.
To be honest with you, Georgia really didn't impress me offensively at all. They just was they defense was so stout, and Clemson's offense is so stagnant because even after the game, they was talking about Clemson. The commentators or the analysts, and they were just talking about how Clemson's offense for the last 4 years has been real stale. So it's not just something that's this year. For the last 4 years, it's been real stale, and that's deep. That's Dabo's fault. Dabo one don't want to go into the transfer portal to get better players. Two, maybe he's starting to lose his. People starting to catch up to how he coaches.
well, it's crazy because the quarterback that came this year on the scholarship, man, he's a 5-star quarterback, man, and bro, you should give him a shot, man. Like he he he's a 5-star quarterback. But Klubnik, whatever his name is, he ain't agile. He ain't mobile, man. He don't have good field vision to like you made two mistakes there. I know DJ sat behind Deshaun Watson. Well, Trev, Lawrence. You know what I'm saying? And I know he was the next guy up, man. But I don't know, man. He just ain't had the mechanics that Watson and Lawrence had. So, you kind of failed with that one, and now you got this dude, that you replace. When DJ transferred, uh, bro, you got to have a better eye when it comes to your quarterbacks, man.
Mhm.
And all eyes is on you, bro, because you done won two natties. So
Yeah.
with you already winning two natties, and bro, you done had 13 seasons where you won 9 games or more. Like
Mhm.
like, does that count for something? It does, but when they pay you that much money, you got to keep winning them. You know what I'm saying?
Most definitely, definitely.
Because Dabble making a grip, bro.
Definitely, definitely. I mean, it's a lot of pressure on them to get back to where they want to be because them other teams is coming. Texas is coming. Oregon, is here to stay. They've had a couple years. They've been pretty good. Texas. Like I said, even other teams like Mississippi. You know what I'm saying? And then I'm telling y'all that train coming back down the track. I'm gonna say, yeah, if I almost want to run around this room right now because my Hurricanes, woo woo, they're like
Well,
step
well, well,
five
well,
out
well,
there,
well,
like
well,
step
well
five.
they look good on yesterday, but we gonna see how y'all coach format this, because I can say last year in a lot of games it wasn't even the players.
Okay,
Sometimes a coach can get out coached, and it's just like if we look at the Colorado game, man, even all that spectacular stuff that we seen, man, Dion almost got out coached, bro.
oh yeah, definitely, definitely. Like the thing about with Dion, because the truth be told, if you watch Dion throughout the game, I don't even think Dion really is coaching like the X's and O's like that. His offensive coordinators calling the offensive plays. Because if you notice when they call a timeout or something. And Dion is almost standing to the side when his offensive coaches, have him, calling the plays or whatever, and then he might come in at the last second and give a little rah rah speech. But I don't
He's
think
not involved. He's not involved enough for me, man.
exactly. He just kind of like walks up and down the sideline. But I think a lot of times they'll make a call in a crucial moment, and then when it doesn't go well, he has this look on his face like, why did they call that play? And but as a head coach, you got to override, you got to veto some of that stuff. If you know it's not a good player, that one time when they went it on their side of the ball on fourth down, and it was like a they did like a draw play, and I like that was a terrible call. Like that was so predictable what they was about to do, and you already showed that you can't really run the ball. So why would you run a draw play on a situation on a 4th and 1? Like that didn't make no sense. So I just feel like, to me, I think Dion definitely got to prove that he can really coach. You know what I'm saying? Like he can give you all those inspirational speeches and run around with all the swagger and all of that. Don't take me wrong. Don't get me wrong. I'm rooting for Dion and them all day long. But when I'm watching it, I'm looking at little things. I'm looking at like, okay, now Dion, like, you gotta do a little bit more than that. What you doing, Prime? Because oh, let me say call him Prime because he don't like you. We call him Dion. So you could call him Coach Prime, but definitely, yeah, I got to see more. But to get back to Miami for a second, so I've been watching Miami Hurricane football since the '80s,
I know. Yeah.
and so I've been a fan this whole time for almost 40 years. I've been a fan of Miami Hurricane. Over the last 20 years, of course, everybody know about our past. The last 20 years, we've been probably the worst we could ever been over the last 20 years. But what I've seen, and I know we've had some kind of talent, but what I seen yesterday or whatever from our, because I kept hearing about this Cam Ward guy. And I said, "Oh, okay, I got to see it before I believe into the hype." Nick Saban talked about him, Lee Corso, not Lee Corso, Joe Klatt. It was Desmond Howard. A lot of the so-called experts that I actually respect talked about how good this guy is.
Yeah.
And I've seen it not just from the play on the field, but I've seen it with his poise, his leadership. Even when he threw that interception, he immediately came back and scored on the next drive when Florida took it to the house on that one running play on that sweep play, he came back on the next drive and scored again in a hostile environment. And I'm just looking at the way they fly around the ball and all of that. And I don't, like I said, he got better coaches around him, so they might win in spite of Cristobal. That's like the Cowboys winning in spite of Mike McCarthy. They might win in spite of Mario Cristobal.
Well, maybe y'all might win in spite of Cristobal, but my Cowboys nation, no, bro. No, bro. No, man. We nah, man. But anyway, man. But yeah, man, Miami look good, but I ain't never thought that Florida was gonna win at all. I think Florida is the most overrated, most overhyped school. They always talking about these new recruits. They got a transfer portal. They got this. They got that. And in every year, man, it's like I'm in the trash bag aisle of the grocery store. Where's your healthy scent sacks? Because that's what they look like. Purity trash.
Yeah, they look pretty terrible. That quarterback of theirs look average at best. I say, that it's crazy. If he would have got hurt earlier in the game, not to wish he got hurt, but if he would have got hurt earlier in the game, that other quarterback might have kept him in there, the freshman they had, because he looked pretty good when he came out there.
He did, man. He did. He did. That freshman is that freshman is the one who needs to be starting.
They said he was the number one player in the country, one player of the year for the whole country last year. So he was the number one recruit in college football and now coming out of high school overall last year coming out. So and Florida ended up landing them. So they might got something on their hands. They might have their next Tebow and Chris Leak and all these guys from Danny Werf, all these guys from back in the day. They might got their next one. You
Man,
know.
I seen yesterday. I seen two defenses that was really really fast, man. The Texas defense fast and the Texas A&M defense is super fast, bro.
Mm, mm,
Man, when I forgot who Texas A&M played, but I was watching Sports Center, man, and man, it's like as soon as the dude said hut, man, look, man, look, man, they linebackers was in the backfield. And
mm.
I'm like, them boys fast, man.
Okay. Well, we're
Uh,
gonna take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back. The 910 Sports TV. Okay, we back. We back. You know what I'm saying? 910 Sports TV with my man King Jacob the Great in the building. I'm gonna say this real quick before we move on to another topic. I'm gonna say that I was watching last night. I was watching Arizona play, and they got this guy named T. Williams or whatever. Uh, and no, I mean T. McMillan, and uh, basically they saying that he's the best wide receiver in the game. He had 10 catches for 304, which that ain't easy to do. But even though they're playing against a terrible defense, he still had 10 catches for 304. So, you know what I mean? He got a smoothness about him, almost like and I ain't saying he Jerry Rice, but he just got that smoothness about him like a Jerry Rice. You know what I'm
mhm.
saying? He got like he run like a gazelle. He's real smooth on his routes. You know what I mean? Confident, the whole bit. But they saying that he's supposed to be the best. They supposed to be the best tandem in college football. They definitely not going to be the best team because they can't stop a cold. They like USC. They can't stop nobody. But as far as them two together, all I'm gonna say, dude, he the truth now. He the truth. That wide receiver is something different. You know what I'm saying? But but anyway, what's the next topic? What you got?
I got Do you think the Alabama's new head coach is going to continue the legacy? From what
Uh,
from what Nick Saban said, Alabama is going to be Alabama. It ain't going to be no different. And why he said this, he said, if you really look, who expected Washington to be in the national championship? He was like, this man worked with Penix for 2 years, man, and and they went all the way to the Natty,
mhm.
even though they lost. But man, do you know how long it takes some teams to get to the Natty, and some teams never get there, no matter how many coaches they go through. So that's what Nick said.
Well, I'm gonna say this. I think over the years, I think one of the reasons why Nick Saban left when he did because he seen the writing on the wall and he seen that train, he seen what was coming down the track. And I feel like with the NIL coming into play and with him being gone, right now they may be fine, but I think over the years, the recruiting gonna take its toll on them, and a lot of those players that would have went to Alabama go somewhere else. Because to be honest with you, who really want to live in Alabama for 4 years?
Man, college players don't think about that, man.
But I'm just saying, so, but at the same time, if I can stay home in Texas or Florida or Cali or whatever versus going to Alabama, you know what I'm saying, and still get the same opportunities, the same. Well, because the thing about it is, Nick Saban, he can groom you. He'll groom you for a couple of years. You'll get players that might not play to their third or fourth year because they so talented and they so deep. These players ain't waiting for all that time. They're not waiting 3, 4 years to play. You know what I'm saying? These players is 1 year and out. If you don't let me start right now, I'm gone.
Yeah,
So
that's true.
I think that will affect Alabama at least their depth. They may still have those 5-star players come in, but they're not gonna have the depth overall that they used to having because players are not waiting behind somebody else to get in the game or whatever. They just not doing it. You know what I mean? There's too many other opportunities for them to go somewhere else. I mean, we talked about DJ Ungalaya or whatever his name, Ogala, whatever that was at Clemson and went to Oregon State, and now
Talking
he's
about,
at
D, talking about DJ Trash? Yeah, yeah.
yeah, exactly. Now he at Florida State or whatever. And it was like you was at Oregon State. Oregon State last year, you probably had your best season and you left and now you're in Florida State and you look straight garbage. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever. So, these players are not waiting around for nobody. And, that's why I think that Nick Saban seen the writing on the wall and was like, nah, I ain't got time for this. You know what I mean? Like Dion said, like Prime said, sometimes he have players. As soon as he walk in the door, first thing they saying is, "Well, how much you willing to pay me, coach?" And he'll tell them quick, if that's what you here for, you might well walk right on back out the door because I'm not
Breaking
about to.
news. Breaking news. Donna Donna Don. Breaking news. Reportedly, Alvin Kamara is supposed to be signing with the Minnesota Vikings.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's what was reported.
Why you going sign with the trash teams? Who's that?
The
Stephon Gilmore signed with Minnesota. Why these good players sign with these trash teams?
hey man,
Minnesota's trash.
hey man, I don't know how trash it is. I don't know their roster, man, but I just know that Minnesota grabbing people up. So you
All
know,
I'm saying is Sam Darnold, the quarterback. They gonna be trash.
Sam
they gonna
Donald, Sam Donald allegedly the quarterback, right?
No, he quarterback because the old boy got hurt and got JJ McCarthy out for the season.
Yeah, I know they tried to get trade. I know they tried to get Trey Lance, but Jerry said no.
They would be more trash if they would have got him. You know what I mean? So hey, and
I
shout
mean,
out to
I just think people give him a bad rep though, man. Like they ain't really gave him a chance. That man ain't even played 5 snaps in the NFL. You know what I'm saying? Like in the NFL season, he
Mhm.
played but 5 snaps. You know what I mean? So I mean, I don't really know what he can do, what he can't do, because I ain't really seen him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and you know what's funny? Shout out to Ricky Purcell who got shot yesterday. So hoping his first speedy recovery. And
Who?
Ricky Purcell, he played for Florida last year. He got drafted by was it Minnesota? But he got drafted. But he got shot yesterday in a mall or something like that. You know what I
Man,
mean?
how hold on, how who and what do these young boys be around, man? Cause
I
you
don't know.
always hear some of these young boys get shot or something
But
happen to them,
yeah,
man. Like I don't
it
understand, man.
was attempted robbery or whatever. But he got no, it wasn't. No, he got drafted by the 49ers. I'm sorry, because he was supposed to be. Because you remember he was. They was the one that he kept talking about. That basically if they let Brandon Ayuk go, they could grab him up. He could be the Brandon Ayuk replacement. They said he's gonna be fine or whatever. But I ain't gonna. This the funny part about it because you about to laugh at me when I say this. If they would have never showed who he was, I didn't realize Ricky Pearsall was a white dude. I was just like, oh dang, all this time I thought it was a brother. I didn't know he was a white dude. You know what I'm saying? I kept hearing about his name. I watch Florida football like that, but I was like, I didn't know he was a white dude. You know what I'm saying, or whatever. But so yeah, so that was crazy in itself. But it was like a attempted robbery attempt or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So um, and then shout out to the two. Rest in peace to the two hockey players that got killed in the bike accident. That was tragic, especially the fact that they was on their way after they was on their way to their sister's wedding. They were supposed to be the groomsmen in their sister's wedding, and they got killed a couple hours before the wedding in a bike accident. They got hit by a car. You know what I'm saying, or something like that in a bike accident. But
Man,
yeah,
I just really think, man, that how can I put this out? These cats that be riding these motorcycles on the highway, on the interstate and stuff like that, man. I just feel like that motorcycle turned them into a different person. I don't
yeah.
feel I don't feel like they were the rest in peace to them. I just feel like a lot of people don't respect the bike or they don't respect the highway. Some
And it wasn't even no motorcycle. I don't think, from my understanding, it was bicycles.
bicycles. Oh, okay.
From my
Oh, wow.
understanding, if you know what I mean, if I got the story right, they was on bicycles.
Oh man.
Yeah,
I'm so sorry to hear that, man. That's awful, man. That's
yeah.
awful,
But
man.
I get what you're saying about the motorcycles. I seen one. I seen an accident last week in North Carolina. I was coming through North Carolina and this picking up my truck that I was about to deliver, and it was a guy laid out in the middle of the highway. With the EMTs around him, and his bike over, right on beside him, crashed or whatever. But I tell people, I said, and then see, I used to do that kind of work real quick. I used to pick up people from the rehab hospitals and take them home after rehab when they would have neck injuries, they have spinal cord injuries or brain injuries. And a lot of those injuries was come from a motorcycle accident. Because motorcycle accident is different. Like car accident, you get a car accident and walk away like ain't nothing happened. I've been in two of them, so I know. And I'm talking about where you seen the car, you be like, oh, how'd you walk away? They had to do Jaws of Life one time when I got in a car accident, and I was able to walk away. You know what I'm saying? And most I walked away was like with a sprained back or whatever. But
Mm,
with motorcycle accidents, a lot of times you don't walk away, even if you survive. A lot of times you end up with back injury, broken leg, brain injury, all kind of stuff going on with you. So bike, all it takes is that one quick second in a bike injury, a motorcycle injury to change your whole life. That's why I've never tried to get on one and
mm-hmm.
never had the desire to do it. You know what I mean? But anyway, getting back to, what? Let's get into your boy CD Lamb and get into this IU contract right fast. Um, so, uh, what's your thoughts? I want your thoughts on the CD Lamb part, and I'll talk about the Brandon IU part. Before we do that, let's take a quick commercial break one more time. Quick commercial break, and we'll be right back after these messages. Okay, we back here on 9910 Sports TV. We were about to get into the topic of Brandon Ayuk and CD Lamb contract. I'm gonna let my brother Jacob the Great talk about CD Lamb because that's his team and his thoughts on the whole thing.
City Lamb, 136 million, 4 years. Read it, read it, 34 million a year. Is he worth it? Uh, I'm gonna say yeah, but um, do do I think that he's gonna have somebody to throw the ball to him next year? Not, not. Do I think it's good? It's gonna be a face that we never seen? Yeah, probably somebody like a Carson Wentz. But
Mm-hmm.
but anyway, man. But Dak is kind of tired of Jerry shenanigans, man.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, he said, I don't pay. I don't pay attention to nothing Jerry say in the media because it's all irrelevant. He was like, I got more important stuff to think about. I just I just had a new baby girl, so like I don't really think that care, bro, because
Mm,
because he already knows whether the Cowboys pay him or whether somebody else pay him, he's still gonna get paid.
yeah, yeah, that's true. That's true. I mean, I
But
just like,
do you think
um,
CeeDee Lamb worth that money?
I mean, I think it's work based on the wide receiver scale. Yeah, because I do think CeeDee Lamb is top five. I mean, going into last year, I didn't really look at him like that, but then when he started balling out, I do look at CeeDee Lamb as a top five receiver, and based on what Justin Jefferson got and what St. Brown got and all of that, I do feel like he's worth that money that he got. You know what I mean?
I
See, that,
I just ain't never thought about St. Brian getting 30 million a year. I just ain't never thought about, bro.
yeah, that's what
I
I'm
just
saying. So if he got 30 million and CeeDee Lamb is probably, you know, I ain't gonna say he astronomically better, but he's a little bit better than St. Brown. He deserves probably a little bit more than St. Brown. I
well, I
mean,
mean, I'm just glad somebody from Detroit got paid because when you when you think of Detroit, you just think about the Pistons. You don't think about the Lions. Uh, uh, uh,
you ain't think about
uh,
the people no more.
I'm just saying, man. You think about the legendary things that the Pistons has did. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
But
Yeah, I
but but
feel
but but when you think about the lines, you just said Barry.
you,
You
man.
don't even say Barry Sanders and or the guy that played with Barry Sanders. You just said Barry. You know what I mean? So, bro,
Yeah.
how your organization been in effect for over 60 some years, and we can only call Barry name?
Yeah,
I,
but you know what's crazy about it is, well, actually two players, but they probably the only team I've ever known in history of any sport, especially football. Well, I say football, that they had two players quit on them because they were so terrible, and then they didn't want to pay them, and that was Barry Sanders and Calvin Johnson. They had to be the. I ain't never seen two players just quit football because the team was just garbage.
but
You
he
know what I
he
mean?
said he said that Calvin Johnson. I seen him do an interview, man, with what's the white guy that come on after Stephen A. Smith?
You talking about Pat McAfee?
Yeah, yeah. He told Matt McAfee, man. He said it was that. He said, man, but I was hurt and I had three different opinions. And they said if I get hit like that again, it could be bad for me. So with me going back and forth with this contract negotiations and they ain't want to let me out. So I just like, man, if the doctor said this and they ain't want to let me out the contract or let me out the deal, so I just retire.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, you kind of think of Kevin Johnson, man, but and all in all, I
But
hear
you ain't never
people
been a
just
Calvin Johnson fan for whatever reason. You ain't been a Calvin Johnson fan, no way.
no, it ain't about me being a fan, but when I talk to people that reference Detroit, they don't really reference him, man. They reference Barry. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah. He's my favorite running back of all time. Like to me, yeah, he's
But
my favorite running back of all time.
but but Kevin Johnson had such a short career, man. To like when they talk about my top five, I don't even put him in my top five.
Mm.
Maybe top 12.
What a receiver?
Yep.
What you hold on.
Yeah.
You said Calvin Johnson? No, you said top 12.
Yeah.
So you on her? So the high, the low, the high. So
I
so
can't
you
even play. I can't. That's just like somebody telling me to put T.O. in my top five of small forwards. Man, you know.
I mean,
T Mac. I meant. I
oh,
can't do it, bro.
I
I can't
mean,
do it.
that's a different conversation all in itself. I've seen people say T Mac was top five, better than LeBron, all this other crazy stuff. I ain't even about to get into all that kind of
But
stupidity.
but but but
But
what I'm saying about things that people who have a short span time. You know,
I see what you're saying.
you know, you know, kids have ate cheese puffs longer than Calvin Johnson have played. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I see what you're saying. I mean, that's kind of how that's tricky with Terrell Davis. Like Terrell Davis only played what about 6, 7 seasons, and he won 2 Super Bowls, but he didn't. Some people might look at him and be like, did he really play long enough to be considered? top 5 or top
I
10.
mean, I
You know
mean,
what
you got him wearing the same jacket as Emmett Smith and Eric Dickerson and Earl Campbell and like you got him wearing the same jacket as Jerome Bettis. Like what?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Does he really does he really belong? That's why like sometimes it's tricky when you see like Hall of Fame players and all of that. But I can't see how you don't have Calvin Johnson at least top 10. You talking about some top 12, top 10? Like he belong at least in it. I think I thought about this yesterday when I seen a player from Arizona with a 300-yard game. I said, I want to think Calvin Johnson might be one of the only players. I want to say Calvin. I gotta look it up. I think Calvin Johnson had a couple of 300-yard games in the NFL.
Well, I
From
can't listen, man.
you
Listen,
know, what I mean,
I ain't saying he great. I ain't saying he wasn't elite. But I watch football over the years. I watch some football, so I can name 10 right now.
10 receivers that's better than
Yeah,
Calvin Johnson.
I ain't saying better. Their stats are better because of their longevity. You know what I mean? I don't. I just can't name him in a top 10 list. And and people
No,
who
no, no, I'm about to put you on the spot. Then you got to name me 10 play wide receivers better. That's better than Charles.
I didn't say better, man. I say he didn't play long enough for me to be in my top 10. He did not play long enough for me.
How long did Calvin Johnson play? About 7, 8 years.
But 6.5, 7, something like that.
Mm. Oh well, them 7, 8 years, 6.5, whatever he played was phenomenal. Like I don't, I'm just going by what
It's only one football player that I'm a reference to Detroit as being phenomenal. That's gonna be Barry. You know what I mean? If you're a Detroit fan and you're a Detroit football fan, if you ever say that somebody else is more elite than Barry Sanders, then we can't never discuss football again. You know what I mean?
Yeah. To be honest with you, the only reason why I haven't watched Detroit back in the 80s or 90s or whatever was because Barry Sanders. Like when they play, I'm gonna tell you like this, because I still don't understand why Detroit get to play every year on Thanksgiving. I still never understood that whole thing. But maybe it's a story behind it. I don't know. But when Detroit would play on Thanksgiving every year, the only reason why I would watch because of Barry Sanders. That's
Yeah,
it. You know what
of
I'm
course,
saying? You know what I
of
mean?
course,
So,
man.
but yeah, that's the only thing I'm trying to figure out is why is Detroit still getting to play? Like y'all done changed everything else about football and come up with these new ideas and evolve. Why is Detroit now? Last couple of years I get it because Detroit been gotten better. But I'm just saying before last year, why was Detroit still get to play on Thanksgiving? Like we can't find a better team than Detroit. But
I don't know.
last couple of years they right like this year they got a legit chance to go to the Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? If they play like they did last year, if they would duplicate what they did last
And in fact, man, I would like to see them get them one, man.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Maybe they can bring some justice back to the city because the only hope Detroit got now is Eminem. I'm
Me
just
too. Anyway, we about to take one more last break. We gonna take one last break and come back and then wrap this thing up, man. It's not one of those sports, my man King Jacob, Icon E. We be right back. Okay, we back. We back on the show. This is our last few minutes. Yeah, we got a shorter show because it's a shorter show now because we on TV and all. I'm gonna go ahead and let you do the quick. Oh, I don't know why I call it drop. What is it called? They didn't call it drop. I don't know why I call it drop.
man, cause you're a music guy. That's why you call it drop. But anyway, man, thank you guys for tapping in with us on 910 Sports TV, man. We definitely appreciate you. So we'll be bringing you live interviews with coaches and athletes and mentors and sports recruiters, and we're talking about the NL sports. We're talking about the transfer portal, and we'll talk about why coaches haven't went up to the transfer portal yet. But you can also catch us in radio land too, streaming in 191 countries, man. All overseas and tapping in with us every Sunday at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And
Mhm.
big ups to the Village Global Network. Shout out to executive producers of the show, um, Kimmy K and Senior G, man, and we just here, man, and just trying to bring you the best sports media, every Sunday morning. Thank you for tapping in.
Yeah. So we're gonna go into one last topic. We can go one or two routes. We could either talk about the Dion press conference thing, or we could talk about more of this, or we could talk about. Well, you know what? Let's talk about Ant Edwards because they've spent a lot of time on the Dion thing, and I don't like to be repetitive like everybody else. Ant Edwards' situation I don't think has been spoken on enough, and I will say this: it was Ant Edwards dead wrong. Yes, he was 100% dead wrong. But I will say this, and I told you this. I felt like Magic. It was an opportunity for Magic to, instead of dousing more flame on the fire, he should have, whatever, he should have said, you know what, let me speak to this young man because obviously he's not educated enough to understand his history of basketball versus saying, I don't talk to people who've never won a championship on high school or college level. So I felt like sometimes with the older generation, we have to be the one to be the mature and to be the bigger person to say, you know what, let me pull this man to the side and see why he said what he said. Because obviously, Ant Edwards ain't the only one that feel like that. It's a lot of people his age. You got to think this kid is only like 21, 22 years old. A lot of kids his age feel the same way. So let's get some understanding or some overstanding before we just bash this man.
I don't think Magic bashed him. I mean, I think he put his own foot in his mouth, and here's the severe punishment that happened. Like for you to be a basketball player and really not know any stats of people that came before you, man. Just it's like these kids don't love the game, bro. Like what? To say that Michael Jordan was the only player that was good in the '90s is crazy. It's ludicrous, man. Man, it sounds like we need to plug you with a therapist so we can check on your mental health.
Yeah. And I said, when I heard it, I said, "Ooh, I know Jacob, boy. I know he about to go off. He probably in the house throwing doggone napkins around and kicking over paper plates because he ain't gonna mess up his mama good plates. So he probably in there kicking over paper plates and throwing napkins in the room. You know what I'm
And
saying?
it was just he just sounded so crazy saying that, man. Like that don't make no sense.
Yeah. So
It's
yeah,
like,
but yeah, like I said, man, he dead wrong? Yes. Am I gonna stop watching him because of what he said? No. I just feel like he just need to be better educated on what he understands and doesn't understand. But to say that, I would never. Sometimes people probably look at me and think I take up, and I know you do think I take up for this generation sometimes a little bit too much. But at the end of the day, I would never disrespect the old school heads or whatever and what they did from Magic and Bird to Julius Irving before that, to Oscar Robertson, to Bill Russell, and not even just on the basketball court, just in general. But anyway, man, we got to get up out of here. It was a great show. Like I said, we basically we became super global now and everything we got going on. But everybody, y'all just have a blessed and wonderful week. We're gonna come back with some amazing more talent this year as far as interviewing these youth. If you want to tap in with us, hit us up. You hit me up on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all that kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? But just hit us up if you want to get an interview for yourself or somebody you may know. But anyway, we out of here. Great show. Y'all have a great and wonderful week and stay blessed. We out of here.
blessings to all.